Scream 7 has to be the dumbest, most idiotic, repetitive, slow, boring film I have ever seen in my life. It's outdated, and it is very much the OAP, the old age pensioner of film franchises, and everyone's just a little bit too old to still be doing this, and it shows on screen. It's oh my days. Play the clip. So the film starts off with a young couple driving in a dark, narrow road in the middle of nowhere, and are driving and talking about true crime and the events that actually took place 30 years ago in the film Scream. And they are, as it's made apparent, fans of those events, as those events have been popularized in true crime documentaries and podcasts, and also films have been made of those events, and people know the story of Scream and Neve Campbell's character Sydney, and it's all become public knowledge and almost has gotten this like cult following. And so this young couple are driving to this seemingly ordinary house in the middle of nowhere. But for those of you eagle-eyed viewers may recognise the house. It's the house from the first film. And what's happened is basically it's the number one true crime Airbnb sort of house destination, which has been turned into like this little museum. So this young couple are coming in and they're going to be staying the night. And so they get in, they settle down, they walk around and see all the different types of exhibits that they've got. And, you know, they see like the outlines of where the bodies were, and talks about the events that happened on that night about 30 years ago. Then things start to go awry. Ghostface reappears and the murdering starts again. This young couple just get completely murdered, killed in the most amazing and spectacular of ways, and our film starts. Our film starts in the present day, 30 years since the events of the first film, and Neve Campbell returns as Sydney. She has since moved to a new town, a new location, has been married and has a family, and is literally trying to live out her life without any complications. But she is kind of infamous, as a lot of people in her town know about her story and are constantly asking her questions, and all her neighbours and friends and family around her all know about her story, because there's actually been films made about the Sydney Scream story. So there's like Stab 1, Stab 2, Stab 3, almost in a meta way of like taking the piss out of themselves. They've been a film within a film. They're trying to be clever here. You know, the whole William Shakespeare. Come on, really. Anyway, she's in this town trying to settle and live a new peaceful life, working in this little cafe that she owns. And all of a sudden, people start dying and you have no idea why. And then it becomes apparent that Ghostface has returned once again. But who is it? Is it their neighbour? Is it their friends? Is it somebody she knows? We don't know. But she is under attack once again from her nemesis, Ghostface. He's back and he wants more. So I kind of went into this film completely cold. I'd seen the first one briefly and seen Scary Movie as well. And that was kind of like my reference point. I'd not even seen Scream 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which we'll come back to in a minute. But I came in cold, had no idea. Was like, okay, I've probably seen a lot of this before. I didn't even need to watch Scream 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It had been completely deleted, retconned, out of existence. Like, it didn't even matter. They mainly focused on the first film. The problem with that is they're counting on nostalgia when it comes to this. And I barely remembered the first film when it even came out. What, 1997, something like that? 96, 97, around that sort of time. The thing, I remembered more Scary Movie because of What's Up? If you don't know, just Google it. Google it. To me, that was the better film. That was way more funny, and it poked very much fun out of the whole horror film character tropes that came with it, and the story types, and all that sort of stuff. And it just really poked fun at it very, very well. The thing is, with this film, they do poke fun at themselves, but it doesn't land at all. They're trying to be too clever with poking fun at themselves by doing these movies within a movie type of thing, and so just doesn't land at all. Also, some of the decisions made in terms of like story and character beats and just characters in general is just bonkers. For example, Ghostface is chasing them down the house to go into this safe house, which is like a fortress, and what do? They're like, oh, I know, let's go down this really sort of thin wall which has zero protection, and Ghostface can just stab us quite easily through the wall instead of staying in the fortress of solitude that is the safe house, where they could just wait it out and just be like, yeah, we'll call the police, they'll come down. And also, with technology that it is now as well, with location trackers on every phone, with artificial intelligence being able to find whoever it is that's calling them, and facial recognition and all that sort of stuff, in reality, the guy would be dead or found out in seconds. It just doesn't work for this time period. Like back in the day, obviously everything was very much analog, so it just, nah, that goes out the window completely. Also, the police chief, the husband, Joe McHale, the dude from Community, is in this, and he's the husband of Sydney's, and he's walking down the house, the lights are turned off, and he's got a gun with a torch attachment on it. And they're like, you're not going to use it to like light the place up a little bit, give yourself a bit of, just tiny little things like that happen throughout the whole movie just really infuriated me. It was really frustrating. What I did find also was the fact that the film does a lot of hand holding. There's a lot of times where they would just repeat the plot over and over again. There's a lot of time spent in rooms talking about what just happened in the previous scene. There's a lot of repetition as well. So often you'll find characters talking about like, oh, it's usually somebody you know. And literally the scene later, oh, it's usually somebody you know. Oh, give me strength, man. Like, I can see what's on screen. I don't need you to tell me everything that happened beforehand. I have an attention span that lasts for longer than 5 seconds. Like, they treat you like a child. Like, in terms of you, the audience member, they treat you like a child, as if you're like walking down and crossing the road with your mother and just hold handing and just the audience is smarter than you think. They do get how storytelling works. Like, you don't have to tell what's going on all the time. You can reiterate certain things down the line, and you can sort of have characters re-explain things to serve the story and to reveal something about the characters. But just to explain it every 30 seconds, nah, come on. Oh. And also, who's who? I have no idea. Like, in the early sort of 90s and mid-90s, the classic horror tropes of characters, like you'd have the weirdo, the goth, you'd have the jock, you'd have the beautiful princess, the rich dude, the boyfriend. In this, they're all mixed. No idea. Like, the world we live in right now really doesn't lend itself well to like your traditional horror character tropes. It is so vastly different. Maybe I'm just old, and maybe I'm just hanging on to a past life that no longer exists, and that these movies are going to be very different from now on. I wanted to work things out for myself and not been, it was frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Also, some of the decisions made by the police, at the height of the film, the police decide to lock down the city and have a curfew and make sure people don't go outside or stay indoors, stay safe, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, surely now is the time to have more police presence, more people outside, so that the killers have nowhere to hide. Surely. I mean, this is just where my logical brain is going. Also, I think going into this, I remember hearing that not only was there a lot of production issues going into it, they also had fired their lead actress over God knows what, some sort of controversy that was going on at the time. Is that right? Do I remember hearing that? Yeah, yeah, that happened. Yeah. So for some reason, when I watched it, I was like, I didn't clock that, but it wasn't until afterwards I was like, wasn't there something revolving around the film that had a bit of controversy to it, and half the staff walked out, and I don't know, but somehow it's still making money, and it's doing well at the box office, from what I understand. And who am I to talk? I'm just a YouTuber giving my opinion. To be honest, I think they should just lay this one to rest. Literally, it's the OAP of film franchises. You just put it in the old person's home, let it rest for a little bit, and that's it. Just leave it be, and then we're done. That's it. So yeah, let me know what your favourite horror film is of like the early 90s, mid to late 90s as well. Let me know what your favourite one of that era is, and whether or not they should be remade for today's audience, or they should just leave it as it is, because apparently nostalgia sells. And that's not necessarily a good thing, especially in this case. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.